Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up in just a few minutes, in our Scandals segment brought to you by Your Home TV and Kathy Ireland Worldwide, today we're featuring our regular contributor, Imran Ansari, partner at Aidala Bertuna Kamins, otherwise known as ABK Law, right here in the heart of New York City. He's also a legal contributor and analyst on Law and Crime and Court TV. Today, we're chatting Young Thug's RICO case and the use of rap lyrics in criminal cases. Now, Young Thug was initially indicted for conspiring to violate the RICO statute and participating in criminal street gang activity. And in a reindictment filed in August of last year, prosecutors charged him with additional counts related to gang activity as well as drug and firearms violations. Now, in a pre recorded address screened at Hot 97's Summer Jam back in June of 2022, he urged his fans to sign the Protect Black Art petition and keep praying for him. Now, the petition to protect Black art is a document co written by 300 Entertainment CEO Kevin Liles. He first signed Thug and helped get his label YSL off the ground as a subsidiary company. And Atlanta Records CEO Julie Greenwald also wrote this act. Now, the document asks both federal and state legislators to adopt bills that limit the use of rap lyrics as evidence in a court of law. Thug's plea arrived on the heels of a sprawling 56-count RICO case against him, Gunna, and 26 members of his Young Stoner Life collective. Now, after 567 days in jail for Young Thug, the trial against him finally began at the end of November of last year. Now, we're going to tie it all together. Interestingly enough, running parallel to all of this, the man accused of killing Run DMC's Jam Master Jay can't have his rap lyrics used against him at a trial, is what a Brooklyn judge decided in a ruling not long ago. Now, there's a correlation here, and Imran and I are going to break it down for you. Now, the use of rap lyrics in criminal prosecutions has been a contentious subject in several high-profile cases, including the ongoing racketeering trial of Young Thug. And in that case, the judge allowed the lyrics to be presented at trial, a decision that defense attorneys say amounts to racist character assassination meant to poison a jury already skeptical of rap music. Now, in the context of Young Thug's case, Imran, how common is it for rap lyrics to be used as evidence in criminal prosecutions, and what challenges does this present for artists going forward?
Yeah, Zen. I mean, this is like you said, it's a hot button topic. In fact, right now it's the subject of what's called the RAP Act, which was introduced to Congress, which would ban the use of rap lyrics by a prosecutor in order to prove a crime in the court of law, and it's going to have resounding effects if that is the case, including on a case like this. But this case is well underway. They are using the lyrics by Young Thug against him to show or prove or help prove that he is an alleged gang member and part of a criminal enterprise. And that's the crux of that RICO charge, Zen, that the DA's office there, led by Fani Willis. So, you know, Fani Willis is, of course, the district attorney bringing the RICO case against former President Trump and others. But this is a RICO case under the same Georgia RICO statute that she and her office are bringing against Young Thug. They are looking to use those lyrics. They are using those lyrics. And of course, the defense for Young Thug are saying, listen, this isn't evidence of any sort of criminal enterprise. These are rap lyrics. We know that rap sometimes glorifies street life, gang culture, but it can't be taken as true. It's artistic expression from the streets, but it is not evidence that Young Thug and his co-defendants were engaged in some sort of criminal enterprise or gang and, you know, perpetuating crime under that enterprise, which would be the crux of that RICO charge, Zen.
It's interesting to me that this ruling came in response to an attempt by federal prosecutors to introduce lyrics penned by Carl Jordan Jr. as evidence of his role in gunning down Jam Master Jay, who was a pioneering artist whose birth name was really Jason Mizell. But he died in 2002, and his death remains one of rap's most infamous slangs, right? So prosecutors had sought to introduce several lines written by Jordan that described first-person accounts of violence and drug dealing, including there was one specific line: "We aim for the head, no body shots, and we stick around just to see the body drop." Now, similar lines written by rappers Nas, Ice Cube, and Vince Staples, along with interviews with artists like Fat Joe and Future, who have publicly discussed the distance between their art and real lives. So this is, you can't use it for, in the context of one court and one jury in one case and then dismiss it for another. It's either an act or it's not. So with the recent ruling in the case of Jam Master Jay, how does it impact the use of rap lyrics as evidence in criminal trials? Because that was the complete opposite.
And that's why I think there needs to be some clarity under the law of when these sort of lyrics can be used against a criminal defendant. Now, Zen, I do believe that rappers and hip hop artists often rap about street life, their experiences in the inner city, the things that they have witnessed as individuals living many times in the inner city and experiencing things like gang life, and crime hands-on, and they rap about that. Sometimes there's some rappers who glorify that, and whatever you think about that, whether right or wrong, is another debate. But they do that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they have done those crimes or committed those crimes. In fact, there are often rappers who get called out by other rappers saying that they're, just sort of, poser. They're a poser, and they don't really have that street cred and things like that. But I do think it's important that under the law, you do allow the ability to use lyrics when there is a connection, a very clear connection to a crime, and other evidence that would corroborate the individual's commission of the crime. So let's say someone, with glasses, red hair, and their name is Mary, was shot by rapper X, right? And then he goes into, and now there's some other evidence that may connect that individual, rapper X, to that crime. And then there were some lyrics in a rap song by rapper X where he says, "I shot the lady with the red hair and the glasses." That's going to be so specific and corroborated by other evidence that would be a situation where prosecutors shouldn't be handcuffed from not being able to use that lyric as an admission or evidence.
Okay, so to your point, according to its website, YSL stands for Young Stoner Life. It's the record label that includes artists Young Thug, Gunna, Yak Gotti, and Unfunk. Okay, they're all defendants in this trial. The prosecution is arguing that YSL also stands for Young Slime Life, which is a criminal street gang. Right? So
Absolutely.
In this case,
and the prosecution is going to have to prove that, and it's been a very long trial, Zen. This for quite some time. They had one individual who used to be a co-defendant with Young Thug and these other co-defendants who ended up testifying for the state after reaching a plea deal. And there were some moments during that testimony, Zen, where it may have backfired on the prosecution, where this individual actually testified in a way that would be more helpful to Young Thug and his co-defendants than the prosecution. There was, of course, some testimony from this individual that would help the prosecution, but it's going to be ultimately a very difficult case, not only because of the nature of the case, the defendants, and the evidence, and the prosecution has to establish certain things, but because it's a RICO case, and a RICO case in general are very difficult cases to prove. You have to prove that there's a criminal enterprise. They're all acting in furtherance of that criminal enterprise and committing individual crimes. Those have to then individually be proved beyond a reasonable doubt to this jury. And you have multiple defendants here, Zen. It's a trial that's been taking weeks, and it's a trial that has multiple defendants, multiple witnesses, and the prosecution are going to really have to link those rap lyrics along with other evidence in order to prove that RICO case. They have a very tough job ahead of them. Not to say that they won't be able to be successful at the end. This is going to be up to the jury, but it's a really complicated case. And now you see very interestingly, the intersection between real life and possibly what is just art and hip hop life, right? And it's going to be something that's going to resonate not just in this case, then, but as the lawmakers deal with the RAP Act, as individual states deal with this call to prevent prosecutors from using rap lyrics. California, for example, is a state that already prohibits the use of rap lyrics in criminal prosecutions as evidence of crime. And you're going to see after this case around the country how individual states deal with this, and of course the federal government with that RAP Act to consider before Congress.
So much to consider and so much at risk for a lot of these artists. But then again, it could be the smoking gun, and it could be right there, written by their very own, by themselves, and it's an admission of guilt in many respects. So, considering the contentious nature of using rap lyrics in trials, because it is very contentious right now, this particular ruling, how do you think it's going to affect Young Thug's case, given the judge's decision in his ongoing racketeering trial?
Zen, if there's some sort of shift in the law, including in Georgia, and there's this issue, I'm sure this issue has been preserved by his defense team and the other defendants and their attorneys for an issue on appeal. And if there is an ability, if there is a conviction, of course, we have to, this hypothetical here is if there is a conviction, if there's, then you are sure that the defense teams will bring this issue up on appeal, especially if there's a shift in the law and that this evidence should not have been admitted before that jury as proof of a crime. And that would be an appellate issue, and it could lead to a reversal of a conviction if the prosecution are able to get a conviction against Young Thug and or any of these other co-defendants. So it's going to be interesting to see. And it's going to, if this law is not put into effect, if states are able to keep using this evidence without other corroboration, et cetera, you have to expect or wonder if it's going to have a chilling effect on artistic expression in hip hop. And, someone may be a little hesitant to rap or say something in their song because they don't know if it's going to be used against them when they didn't mean it that way. So there's that balance. You want to have this evidence if it's very strong and corroborative of a crime to be able to use as a prosecutor, but then also you don't want to have a chilling effect on the First Amendment and also artistic expression. And that's where the courts and the law have to balance those considerations, including in a case like Young Thug.
You said it, my friend. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I love that you broke it down for us as clearly as you did. You definitely have your work cut out for you. You analyze it so fluidly and make all of us understand these cases from both a legal perspective, both defense and prosecution. So you're really, really amazing at breaking down these cases. We love having you on.
Thanks for having me, Zen.
That was the Scandal segment brought to you by your home TV and their channel partners, Kathy Ireland Worldwide. That was the awesome Imran Ansari of Aidala Bertuna Kamins, otherwise known as ABK Law, right here in the heart of New York City. He's also a regular contributor and legal analyst on Law and Crime and Court TV. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.